Browser Jones, Rose, and Corey Williams and I, Rita Paniagua, sharing the HR committee. So with that, we're gonna let you get into the role of things. Explain to us a little bit about your project.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Council. Rick Alciver, Director of Human Resources. So I think the best place for me to start is kind of recap where we sat last year with the 2024 budget. And our big initiative was to bring the HR functionality into the 21st century to benefit us and our employees the best. The initiatives included safety, accountability, functionality, equitability, and attractiveness of the city. And I think with last year's budget, I think we've made good on the majority of these promises. With safety, for example, on the list was changing the safety culture of a safety-first culture. We're not entirely there yet, but we are working heavily towards that. We've started a safety committee. We've kind of got safety back on the forefront for everybody. Focus on workers' comp claims, injuries, accidents, and incident reduction, which we are currently looking at approximately a 33%, correct? 33% reduction, and can obviously do much better. Education and training and safety initiatives. So we've been working with CSEA to provide training for our trainers, but then training for folks in the field. Safety handbook, we've got it drafted. It's just got to go through a quick legal review, and that will be ready to be published in the next couple of weeks here. With accountability, we had talked about an employee handbook, which has been executed and is public. Working on master union contracts, we're not quite there yet, but we're getting closer by the day. And then accountability in the safety culture, which we are driving home, but that safety committee that we're chairing is definitely helping us become successful in accountability in the safety culture. Functionality, so we had talked, and there's other meetings, but streamlining and making transparent our recruiting benefits processes, which we are finalizing with technology. Equitability, using our data to inform our decisions. So with the limited data we do currently have, we've been doing that. And then attractiveness, we've been looking at alternate work schedules, accountability, employee development, which is essentially training, and then creating the best positive employee experience that we can, and looking at competitive salaries in the comp study, which we've done. So I think we can confidently say that we are trending in the right direction. We are getting things done in the HR department. And the budget that we are bringing in front of you all this year is very safety heavy. We are looking to invest more in safety. It's obviously what we owe our employees to send them home in the same condition they came in. But also there is a massive cost savings that we can and need to dip into. So reducing those accidents, injuries, and incidents will save the city money. And also, like I said, we owe the employees that they go home in the same condition. So we've kind of developed an idea that if we maintain a small budget for safety, we can begin to build initiatives each year. The initiative we started off with was road safety. Looking at our safety programs, road safety was lacking. So the majority of the budget for this year is really in two buckets. It's reducing accidents, injuries, and incidents in road safety. And the idea is that next year we would use a similar budget, find a new topic, what is trending, what do we need to reduce, and start putting money towards that. And then the other piece is training. So looking at fall protection training, confined space training, OSHA 10 hours and OSHA 30 hours, which should be standard, but we don't currently have them. So really getting people trained so that they can perform their job safely, and then finding them the resources in whatever is our top trending incident, accident, and injuries, and invest that monies into those programs to reduce those costs.
What about the positions? I see from 2023
Absolutely.
to 2024. Can you talk about the positions? You added 2 new ones.
But a couple other things bounced around a little bit too in there.
Yep, we had some We had some changes in the position, so a couple of title changes, things like that. And I believe on the current register, it sets everything up to be there twice because of the because of the comp study. So it looks a little more cumbersome than it actually is.
How many vacancies do you have?
Currently, we have one. So the professional development, I know it's incredibly difficult to see. I apologize. I did my best. But on the front page of the org chart, on the far left group, you'll see it just says employee and professional development coordinator. That is the, that's the only vacancy we currently have. And then with this proposed budget, we would add 2 positions, another training, safety training position, and an administrative assistant to help with both the safety side of things, the paperwork for safety, and for
Are these, so, any of these civil service, are these civil service ones?
yes. Yep, all of
So this clerk one, they're only getting paid minimum wage,
the-
$15 an hour?
Temporary services.
so that's temp.
Yeah, but it's still, you only getting paid, because with temp, you get no benefits, they only get paid 15?
Correct. Yep.
But clerk two, those are permanent positions, right?
Correct. Yep. And we just have one.
Yeah.
And Rick, I'm working my way through. Personnel officer, 1 to 0. Personnel analyst 2, 1 to 2.
So you're analyst 2.
Yep, you're
So we changed personnel officer to an analyst 2. They were essentially the
salary
same.
or roughly.
It's the same, yeah.
So then you're adding 2 with the safety officer line.
Yep.
Training instructor, adding 1.
So we're adding a safety
Oh, no,
training
you're
instructor.
going down 1 safety training instructor.
Yep. And an administrative assistant.
Are all these positions, come back to it.
What's the Carla? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I know the answer, that's why.
I went into the budget. You have a car allowance.
Yes. We for myself and the DEI professional in our office for traveling back and forth, the DPW, water.
So all these positions are civil service,
Yes, except for mine.
except for your,
Road safety. How did you identify road safety as the focal point for your initiative for the current year?
So the majority of that came from the safety committee meetings. So meeting with management and unions and saying where are we lacking? And again, what little data we have all indicates that road safety should be the first point that we're.
Yep. And I understand, you know, your desire and all of our desire to send employees home at the end of the day the way they came in. But from a purely financial perspective, do you think those individuals that we add will pay for themselves in terms of reductions in cost due to injury, workers' comp,
Tenfold.
you know, et cetera?
Absolutely.
I got some head shaking in the audience as well.
Yeah, my leadership team and my safety team is here as well. So if we need to, we can direct any questions to them. But I think it'll pay for itself 10 times over.
Do you have, you know, targets or objectives or goals in terms of that reduction, or how are you thinking about?
Yeah, Lisa has.
You know, thank you.
Good afternoon. How are you? Nice to see you all again. So in 2024, I had a goal of reducing our injuries overall by 5%. I can tell you that we have come in at 33% decrease in injuries from 2022 compared to 2023.
Now, is that claims? Is that just claims, 33%?
That's correct.
So it's not a total amount of money? You
No,
can't-
it has,
No,
that's no reflection on money.
okay. Okay, that's good. Good.
so is this list here supposed to match up with this?
Yes, it does.
The names aren't the same.
The names are.
You mean the name of the positions?
I know it's little, I can't, but
I know.
So, Rick, could you like sort of maybe expound upon medical insurance should go from 47.9 to 43.8 in the estimated expenditure?
Where are you, Counselor?
Yeah.
On page 21.
Anyone?
Yeah, medical insurance. I mean, you're overseeing that, right?
Correct, yes.
Maybe expound upon that, how you come up with that figure.
I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I'm assuming medical costs creep up every year.
Yeah, I know, but it's a lot of times it's predicated on, I mean, we're self-insured.
Yes.
Yeah, so sometimes it's predicated on more, you know, what happens to our personnel.
So this is a decrease.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I mean. You're saying it's going to go down 4.1. I would just wonder if that was any action on your part or not.
I would say restructuring with Excelis and then things like switching to Guardian saved us $60,000 a year.
There's no real savings. It's the way that we're budgeting is a little different than the year before. So the cost of medical is going up, but in the past, I hadn't taken into consideration the less lines that are embedded essentially within that because they're not really visible. So employee contributions and the millions of dollars we get back from prescription drug rebates. So
Oh, good.
basically the method changed and the budget was overstated most recently each year. So as a result, it looks like it goes down, but it's really just corrected, sort of like baselined appropriately.
Could you maybe give us a sheet on that or something like that? You know, just to show the savings from,
Well, not savings. The cost goes up. It's just that before we sort of had overestimated it.
you know how it
Yeah,
goes.
yeah,
We
yeah.
budget this stuff and, you know, we expect that gets spent right to the dollar, but it doesn't, right?
What you want a sheet on, just to be clear, what do you want?
On the, I can't say savings.
An explanation of the
way-
special object budget for medical insurance.
Right.
I'll have it when we do that special object meeting. And I'll send it to the former counselor in the corner.
where would the DEI officer be listed?
On the org chart,
Yeah,
they are on the far left, under Tracy Pierce, directly underneath.
yeah, but where on the personnel, labor relations, fire is here, the listing?
Oh, in the,
Yeah, what are, I just might be on the wrong page.
it is the Multicultural Affairs and Diversity Specialist. If you're looking at the personal service details, it's about halfway down.
Okay, so they're multicultural.
Yep. Correct.
Sorry, we're kind of all over the place.
That's right.
Professional services line, relatively high in 23, low in 24, back up proposed for 25. What happened in the current year that we didn't utilize those services or didn't need them, and why are we going back to it?
So I don't think that we weren't utilizing it. We've, looking at the team and the strategy going forward for the team, I think is cause for the increase. For the decrease, I honestly can't speak to it. I'm not sure why we decreased it.
It includes $200,000 for the union pay study. So I think that.
Oh,
probably
that,
accounts
we were
for the
talking,
biggest-
okay. So that line, I thought you meant we increased slightly as well for my team specifically, but I didn't
Gotcha.
realize the union comp study is also lumped into that. And we're conservatively budgeting about $200,000.
And your travel and training and development also went up significantly.
That's,
Can you talk a little bit about that?
I'm assuming that's our internal, correct, Tim? The travel and training, is that my team's? Okay, so that's my team's budget. So I apologize, I thought that's what you were looking at. So that's my team's budget, and with the restructuring that we're looking to do when technology is in place, We're looking to move more towards a business partner model, so upskilling my team to make sure they can handle all aspects of HR rather than the one they're currently in.
Could you explain that a little bit? The business, what did you just say last sentence that you lost me?
An HR business partner model
Yes.
is essentially, so right now our teams are broken up by functionality. So one person handles recruiting for the whole organization. With a BP model, that individual handles all aspects of HR for a specific department or groups of
Oh, I
departments.
see. You break it down by department.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you talk to us about labor relations? I'm going to get an example. For typical DPW work, what is their average hours they work?
They,
Average hour,
average hours should be about 40 hours a week.
40 hours a week. So if they work, scheduled work 8 hours a day, so are they allowed to leave work, or let's say an hour early if they get their work done, and still get paid for that 1 hour left?
Not all of DPW. Sanitation has a clause in their contract that allows them to do that.
So sanitation has that clause.
Correct.
But it's for 1 hour.
It's for,
So they work, they have to work 7 hours, but they can get 1 hour pay if they leave early.
sanitation's clause says that if they finish their work before 11, they can be dismissed for the day.
What time they go in?
They go in at 6.
6, okay. So what about other departments? Have they asked for the same clause?
No.
Maybe parks or,
Nope, sanitation's the only one.
okay. And that's through the union?
Correct.
That you negotiate with the union. Are union employees, along with the Parks Department, are they unionized as well?
Yes.
Okay.
About 90% of our workforce is
But do
union.
they go in about the same time?
Some do. There's
Some do.
there's a variance from 6 to, I mean, some people start at 10 or 11 depending on their role. So like lifeguards are starting later in the day.
Right.
But sanitation and like they have a janitorial staff at parks that starts at
So they
6
get
a.m.
that clause that you can get your work done.
It's a different union.
Yeah, well, it's different union. Oh, we have more than one union?
Yeah,
Okay,
we've got 7 unions, or 6 unions,
okay.
9 contracts.
We have variety of contacts. You ever thought of consolidating or no?
Yeah, that's what we've been trying to do. We've been hoping that the union would find that attractive to find a master
I
contract.
think that would you agree with me or disagree with me that if we could consolidate the unions, maybe taxpayers, we can save money in this regard?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
We've been pushing for it, and we think it benefits
keep on
both
pushing,
them.
right?
I know. Well, it benefits both of us. We just have to
Okay.
all see the
We got to
benefits.
keep
so.
pushing. All right, thank you.
Richard, when you have new hires or even when you're changing some policy, and how do you disseminate information among all employees about new policies or changes or?
So for the most part, we use email, but there are a lot of departments like DPW that the majority of their staff don't have emails. So we do a lot of in-person, where I'll send my leadership team down. They'll hand out paper copies of whatever we're, disseminating, and then they'll have a conversation with everybody.
So there's opportunity for them to, ask questions, communicate, yeah.
Absolutely. And then we use, for other things, we use Power DMS, which is an IT program where when you log into a computer, it'll tell you the new update to something. So we use that, but for the most part, it's email.
And when you're onboarding, there's a process for that.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Everybody goes through onboarding, and they go through an orientation as well. For operating equipment. I believe that was probably where we put the management comp study.
Professional services, yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 different, that's under contractual and other expenses for the
Oh.
union comp study, so the equipment is operating equipment.
So in 2023, it was for new furniture because of the flood. So there was a flood in our office in 2022, So that's what the 16 was for. And for the new $64,000 budget, that comes out of the safety equipment that we are looking to add to the budget. So now all my papers are all over the place. So we are looking for things like new safety barrels, traffic control paddles, air horns, cones, electronic signboards, radios, hoists, shoring boxes, first aid kits, fire extinguishers, for the road safety initiative, and that's part of that. But the original 16 was for the furniture.
I'm confused now. Professional services line went from
Professional services.
43,201 to 243,201. A $200,000 increase. And you said that was for
The
comp
union comp study.
For the union comp study
Correct.
coming or being proposed to
Proposed,
happen
correct.
next year. Okay, got it. Now I'm clear.
A lot of moving parts.
Rick, I have a question. Pertaining to workers' comp issues, are anyone, like sanitation, are they required to wear safety helmets? Because they do ride the back. And I want to know why we have not implemented to better ensure their safety. Because,
I'll turn it over to Lisa, the risk and safety manager.
Lisa Schmidt, the Risk and Safety Manager for the city. So the requirement for hard hats is set aside in an OSHA standard, and it's very specific. There are several things that go into that. One is the speed of the traffic that it's moving, and also the location of where the employee actually is. The reason why we haven't had to implement the hard hats for our sanitation employees is because it does not apply.
because they're going at the certain, they're making constant stops.
Correct. And the speed of traffic around them.
Well, that's,
The
I mean,
posted speed of traffic around
well,
them,
there
I
was a
should say.
fatality some years ago, and sometimes there might be an accident. You might hit a pothole, somebody might be just tailgating on the back. We never know. I mean, it's like in the winter. I think we need to be proactive, and it's always been my gripe for years.
Oh, Counselor, I agree with you 100%.
You know.
That's why we're actually performing PPE safety audits. We
Okay.
started in our Parks Department.
Okay.
We are moving on to water, and then we will be concluding with DPW, which
Okay.
is part of the funds is for the appropriate PPE equipment.
Okay.
And I think Lisa and I can both agree that just because there's a minimum standard doesn't mean we should meet the minimum. So
Okay. I'm surprised like someone from unions have brought this to your attention for their,
surprisingly little safety attention from the unions.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
Don't go. So our employees and families, are they, you remember when we approved a while back the counseling services through a new company, I believe it was, or we just, remember that?
The EAP?
Yes. So are we utilizing them? Are people,
As far as I'm aware, we are. The good news is that we're able to function as a team and offer that from all of us because we've all been educated on it. And I think that's the main piece, is making sure that awareness is there for a lot of our folks because a lot of them weren't aware that what we have for them. So I don't work with the EAP personally. That doesn't fall that falls under DEI. But as far as I'm aware, yes, it is used.
You can pull our utilization rates if you'd like. Absolutely.
any more questions? No? Are we all set?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody, for attending. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My motion to adjourn. Second.
Second.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And then I will